my take on this is because President Obama pulled the troops out. Now, we still got 20,000 plus in Afghanistan, but pulled the troops out of Iraq.
We're never going to leave Afghanistan.
Then somebody above him has got this ISIS thing going.
I think the CIA, Mossad, Saudi Arabia, I think ISIS was created to be used as a vehicle at will to be used in Iraq, Libya, throughout the entire region of the Middle East. They are never going to give up the Middle East, but the real rub is you're going to end up facing Putin.
That, and Netanyahu continues to say Iran will not get nukes.
And Russia just said, yes, they will.
So, to me, this sounds like the brink of a third world war.
Yeah, but not a nuclear war. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not being silly or cynical here, but, if there was a few nukes launched, maybe people would grow up. But that's not going to happen. Mutual assured destruction still stands. That's not going to happen. But I don't think the American people have any concept what a full-blown conventional war on 3 continents would look like. America's never been at war.
Not like this.
Not like this. This country, as a nation state, has never really been at war.
Now, when we were in Europe, when we were in that command, it really never hit home.
No.
And I'm not saying the soldiers were gone and that tragedy of all that. I'm talking about the physical attack on the United States.
We've never been occupied. We don't know what war looks like. That's why it's so easy for Americans to wave flags and cheer in sports bars that American troops kick butt in some little primitive country. Do you realize we're beating up countries that don't have air forces? They don't have a navy. ISIS isn't going to come to Arizona. Nothing like that's going on. But Americans live in the lap of luxury. Even the poorest of Americans live in luxury. So we have the luxury to fear things that'll probably never come about. Never happen.
Are you concerned at all about the borders, Craig?
No, I'm actually not concerned about the borders because I understand why our government is allowing the borders to be open.
What do they want?
They want more immigrants coming into America. We want to put them in the United States military, the Marines, the Army. They want them to be falsely told that they'll gain citizenship after they serve 6 or 8 years in the military. We're putting new programs together under Obama to actively pursue illegal immigrants and offer them positions in the military. And we've been recruiting them for the military for a very long time. The other aspect is the American people aren't working any longer. There's a lot of reasons for unemployment, but the facts of the matter is this. There's no taxes being paid to pay for Social Security and pensions.
Craig, also, why is the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, buying submachine guns?
Yeah, you were as shocked by that as I was. I put that on the front page of one of my files.
My gosh.
And actually, if you go into the article in depth, there's incidents going on all the time where chicken farmers and milk producers, they're having their farms hit. It's like SWAT teams are coming in, shutting these farms down, going through their records, seizing their computers, all to check to see that they're under the regulations of USDA. This is a regulatory agency. But that's another example of the complete militarization of not just local law enforcement, but every federal agency in the United States government. They're militarizing, they're gearing up for the day when they know the federal government is going to have to deal with a very unhappy American populace. But one of the ways I think they're going to be able to achieve that objective, to a great degree, I think, is after 1948, there was a law passed, the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948. In 1987, it was bolstered by the Foreign Relations Authorization Act of 1987. That meant using propaganda here domestically on American soil was illegal. You could use it in Radio Free Europe. You could attack Russia with propaganda. You could attack the Middle East with a separate network, radio and TV and publications. In 2013, the National Defense Authorization Act, the one that took away habeas corpus, also nullified those laws. Now the federal government, the Pentagon, the CIA, can legally operate propaganda here domestically against our own people. And one of the ways they're doing it is this new U.S. spy operation out of the Pentagon, out of CENTCOM, that creates a social media network of military personnel who create false personas on social networks like Facebook, Skype, whatever these things are out there, some of which I don't even understand. But each individual serviceman is trained to create what are known in social media as sock puppets, false identities, up to 10 each or more, to create and sell the view of the United States government of any specific issue going on. When these stories first broke, these were back in 2011, 12, 13. Nobody ever put any of these things together. But now if you're paying attention to this development of ISIS and these appearances suddenly on Facebook of an ISIS member standing with a small young child that looks like she's crying and the ISIS member is laughing, you could tell it's Photoshopped. It's on Facebook, and they're saying these little children are being beheaded by ISIS members because they're Christians. And then there's a story, same kind of scenario in the social media, where ISIS is going to kill the Pope. Then there's a separate story where ISIS is going to ban evolution being taught in the school systems. Then a separate one, ISIS is going to ban teaching Christian morality or Christian beliefs in the school system. Each one of these propaganda things are targeting a specific audience with ISIS.
Now, do you think any of them are true?
I don't think any of them are true. But to be honest with you, I don't believe a bloody thing that the United States government says to the American people any longer. I think Glenn Greenwald, Snowden, a handful of reporters like Robert Fisk, Seymour Hersh, you, me, I hate to put me in that same category as those icons in my view, but if you're not listening to what those guys are saying, you're being lied to and you're buying it hook, line, and sinker. If you're listening to anything CNN, Fox News, ABC, CBS is telling you, you're being hoodwinked. Because I just did a almost 200-page study taking each one of these stories by ISIS. I even found the ones about killing the Pope, taking and banning evolution being taught in school, and then banning Christian teaching. It was the same author. The articles were identical. The headlines changed.
Jeez.
And they were only 2 days apart.
It's a campaign.
Same author, same story, identical story, different headline, 2 days apart. One saying they're going to ban evolution, which will scare all of the public school teachers in America. The other, Christianity. We're going to attack Christianity, eliminate teaching Christian values in the public school system. There, now we've got the Christian community. The next story comes out, we're going to assassinate the Pope. Now you got the Catholics. This is orchestrated. I'm telling you, I have no doubt ISIS is an orchestration by the United States government, and the spy operation, the psychological warfare, is operating out of CENTCOM. All of this has been documented back to 2011.
Is the hate and the butchery real, regardless of whether it was orchestrated or not?
Absolutely.
So it is happening.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? We could solve all of the problems over there regarding the United States. Let them have their oil. We don't need.
No, we will become
oil.
Next year, they say, the biggest oil producer on the planet.
That's correct. But you see, that's not who runs the government, is it? That's not who tells Washington and Obama and Jeb Bush in our future what to do and where to do it and when to do it.
Let's take some calls for you.
Corporations, oil, banks, defense contractors run the show. So we're going to be deluged with propaganda saying this, that, the other. Ebola, ISIS, ISIL, is, whatever IS is. And by the way, all of those acronyms are falsehoods. All of them are falsehoods. Der Spiegel did an article written by a Muslim, and he said none of those acronyms are valid. Nobody would even use the terminology Islamic State of Iraq, Islamic State. They wouldn't even use it. If they were called anything, it would be Daesh. D-A with a F over the E, S-H.